What's up? What's up, guys? All right. I'm in a good mood today. Let's go. Let's go with this episode today. New episode of Injury Motivation. If you happen to be injured, guys, I'm here for you. My name is Yusuf. I'm a mental performance coach with a background in sports psychology. And guys, and if I say guys, I mean you ladies as well. I've been I've had my fair share of injuries, made my successful comebacks, and yeah, I didn't let myself get beat. And now I'm here to motivate you. Obviously, while I was having my big injury, I was going still through my sports psychology masters, and yeah, I learned a bunch of stuff that I implemented in my own recovery, and I'm going to share with you that I created into a system that I'm now going to share with you. But one thing today I want to talk about is uh, what's the title of of this episode? Learning from elite athletes who've overcome injuries. That one is a big one. Really, look, I can tell you a personal story. So back in 2011, when I got injured, I tore my ACL, and yeah, back then I didn't know that you could really recover from an ACL injury. I was really worried. I was like, damn, like ACL injury, isn't that like the end for every athlete? And yeah, so my mind was already in this negative state where it was like almost giving up automatically. So what happened was I'm still new to this. It was my very first big injury. Back then, I was graduating high school, and then like sports was one of my major subjects where I had to take like finals and stuff, like PE. And they told me like if you do the surgery now, that was in back in October, November, if you do the surgery now, like you won't get to participate on your finals. And I was like, well, damn. So we did everything in a conservative way, no surgery, only physical therapy. Worked out well at the end. But at the beginning, I didn't know if this was going to work. But 2 weeks after my injury, one athlete that I was looking up to, his name is George St. Pierre, UFC Hall of Famer, former middleweight champion, welterweight champion. George tore his ACL. And when George tore his ACL, I read his interview, I read his statement, and he was confident that he was going to come back. And I was like, if George can come back, I will come back as well. Dude, that gave me so much strength. Just like having someone else's belief gave me so much strength. So everything I did, I would always look up to George. I would look up like what he would do. I would learn from his thing, like from his rehab and his mindset. And that was what kept me pushed through. Really, like with the time he recovered, I recovered. It was awesome. Uh yeah, that can give you strength. And even if the injury doesn't happen at the same time, look up successful stories where athletes came back. I'm telling you, it's the most important thing because that is going to change your self-belief. It is going to shift it. It's going to give you like that belief that it's possible. And you're going to need that because if you don't believe in it, you can't break through your barriers. You're going to get stuck. You're going to get stuck. And yeah, so it's like the 4 minute mile. Like nobody believed it was possible until one guy did it, and then like everyone else did it. And that's the same with injuries. Like if as soon as you believe it's possible, and maybe you didn't hear about it before, and now it's the time because you've never been injured big, like you never had a severe injury, and now it's the time to look up these stories and research them and learn from them and see what they did right, and then also look at athletes who failed to come back, not to discourage yourself, but to avoid the traps they got into. And that's the thing in life. You got to see what works and you got to see what doesn't work. And you can't be discouraged by the people who didn't make it, but you have to learn from their mistakes so you don't do the same. And then take everything what they did, like build up your self-belief, and then also like learn all their strategies to really accelerate the 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 pace of your comeback. Guys, I've been talking fast. I mean, I like this topic. Yeah, so every time I would also work with clients, I would tell them like, "Hey, you got an ACL injury? Who else got an ACL injury? Do you what was this NBA player's name? Derrick Rose. Very inspirational. If you have an Achilles injury, go look up Kobe Bryant. There are like shoulder injuries, elbow injuries, whatever. Like, go look up these athletes. Like, some have, like, Tiger Woods had a horrible car crash, was laying in bed. Like, he came back. You got to look up these things, like, so you can understand that sometimes, like, your injury is not even as bad as theirs. Was an MMA fighter, UFC heavyweight, legend, Brazilian guy, Minotauro Nogueira is his name. And Minotauro was, when he was a kid, he got hit by a truck, I think. And doctors were like telling him, like, you're not gonna survive. So he survived. Then they were like, he's not gonna walk. Then he started walking again. They're like, all right, he won't be able to do any sports or something. Then he did sports again. Like, they counted him out, and he became a world champion. So don't stop where you're at. Really, don't stop. Look up for the tiniest bit of hope and go take that and fight with it. That should be your motivation. That should be your fucking energy. You need just a little bit of confirmation that it's possible. And once it's there, you go fucking do it. Damn, that got me amped up. Because sometimes doctors, they give you bad news. Like my story. I can tell you my story. Back like that was in 2016, broke my ankle in jiu-jitsu. Back then, like I had like really high aspirations to become a professional fighter. And when my doctor looked at my x-ray, he was like, you're never gonna do martial arts again. I'm like, and I was destroyed. I was destroyed. Still till today, it sucks to hear that. He crushed my heart. At that moment, like everything left me. It was pretty tough. So he kept talking about the surgery. I didn't even listen to him anymore. I was lost in my own mind. I was like, how is this possible? This guy is telling me like it's over. And because he's a doctor, I'm looking up to him. I trust his word because he's the expert. He's gonna fix my leg. But then when he left, he was like, yes, see you Tuesday for the surgery. He left the room. And this nurse, she had these crazy blue eyes. Probably had some lenses, I don't know, but it was some context, but it was some pretty crazy blue eyes. When she was putting on a splint around my leg again, she knew, she saw my heart was broken. Then she told me, like, I've seen people come back from this injury. And I was like, huh? And I looked at her, and her eyes didn't let me go. Her eyes caught me. And she said, I've seen people come back from this injury. And I said, like, really? She's like, yes. Dude, I'm telling you, whether she told me the truth or not, that was something I needed to hear. Really, in that moment, I snapped out. I snapped out of my negative thoughts. I snapped out of it. And I made the decision right there, like, I'm going to come back from this. Everything changed the moment before. When I was driving to the hospital, when I was driving to the clinic, I was full of hope. The doctor took all my hope, crushed it, took it all away, squeezed it with one hand, threw it away. And then this lady gave me like, she gave me that hope. And we don't even know if it was true at that moment. And then I'm like, it, it I changed everything. I stopped being a victim. I stopped being a victim. And I was like, dude, I'm gonna conquer this. Like, this doctor is not gonna decide if I can come back or not. Nobody else can decide that other than me. And I'm not gonna decide to quit because of a freak injury. If I quit, then it's gonna be my decision. But so with that, yeah, like 1 year later, like that lady was right because I made it back. And now when she tells that story, when she can tell that story again, she's gonna tell the truth. But yeah, others made it back too, but it was really something I needed to hear. Like the whole rehab, like it took me like a year. I was so dedicated. I was like, because of that mind shift, because I didn't get beaten at that moment. I went and went, I pushed. I had dark days. I had dark days for sure. But every time I would catch myself and jump back on the horse again. I would jump back on the horse again. Woo! Made it back. It was a tough, tough recovery. But let me tell you something. I'm going to tell you a little secret. Now, looking back at it, I barely remember how tough it was. I barely even remember the time. But during that injury time, it felt like forever. My life was being taken away from me. It felt horrible. But guys, if you come back, that feeling is going to be over. That feeling is going to be over. You're going to forget about it and you're going to feel good about yourself. I hope you guys liked it. I hope I can reach you. I hope I can give you some strength. Please, guys, leave me a feedback. Write it in the comments how you liked it. And then I hope I can talk to you one day personally and help you. Or maybe you want to say thank you if this video helped you. See you guys tomorrow.